Hello, and welcome to the Vergecast, day one of CES 2015. I am Nilay Patel.
I am Plante.
Chris Ziegler here.
Super confusing.
And I am special guest, Joanna Stern.
Joanna Stern. Star
Special
Wall
guest.
Street Journal reporter, Joanna Stern. I don't even know if that's your title. Is it fully Star Wall Street Journal reporter?
I like Star.
Yeah,
Star.
Czar.
Czar.
C-Z-A-R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Columnist,
Duchess.
correspondent.
Duchess
either
of
one
the
of
Wall
those.
Street Journal.
Yes.
But no, it's always, every year at CES, we have Joanna come back because Joanna is one of the founders of The Verge
a founding member.
and an escaped convict of this insane asylum that we call a website. So it is day one. We had our first episode of the show yesterday. It was Chris and I and Dieter in this space at our booth, only everything was completely empty. And there were forklifts everywhere.
I wouldn't call it like an episode. It was a test run. It was like
It was an experience. It was a test experience.
So I was talking to Google this morning, and they had just listened to the episode, and they said, we love the forklift conversation. They're really excited about it.
I don't understand.
There were
how
self-driving
anyone-
forklifts.
No,
There was a forklift driving another forklift.
Yeah.
that was true.
Made by Google.
A lot of
Powered.
things happened today. I will say we have Endeavored every day at CES to publish a story that we think sort of wraps up the big theme of what we think the day will be. Today was Dieter. I would say the best headline and sub-headline combination in Verge history.
I'm looking now.
The headline was, "We finally knows what come after the smartphone." The subhead was, "Acronyms." Because it is true. Because the two biggest acronyms here that are happening everywhere are the Internet of Things and the unfortunately and stupidly named ADAS. Go
ADAS.
Go ahead, Chris. Say what it means.
What is the ADAS?
Well, so to be clear,
What is the ADAS?
And who came up with?
it's
or who
NVIDIA.
ADAS?
It's an NVIDIA term, and it's,
Qualcomm used it.
yeah, but so these are vendors, right? This isn't the automotive industry.
No,
This is
I've heard the people. Okay, go ahead.
no one on a Ford stage or a Chevy stage in history has said our new car has ADAS. That is
Oh,
not
but they
happening.
will. That's a chilling vision of things to come.
But anyway, so it's a collection of technologies that will enable things like anti-collision, self-driving, so on and so forth. And these are all things that are on the 5 to 7 year horizon. So everybody is talking about it right now because they're working on the cars that will
Right.
get this in 5 to 7 years.
And that's what I love about CES. There are the things that the technologies that will come to us 5 to 7 years from now that require an enormous amount of human capital and investment and
3-hour
ingenuity
keynotes.
and extensive keynotes. And then there's just Joanna with a selfie stick. And I would say the selfie stick is also one of the main innovations of CES.
I agree.
You did just take 850 pictures by accident with that thing.
Yeah, but that's a feature. That's a feature of this selfie stick that I bought in a casino for guess how much?
$20.
Dignity.
All of mine. $15.
That's not bad. And you love this thing.
You know,
How do you trigger it?
let me show you. So there's a special button on the reverse side. We have to. The main problem here is that, well, there's a lot of main problems.
This is just not working at all.
Mike,
That's not even a good
you
selfie.
embed the mic in my selfie stick. I'm being told I need
Yeah.
a selfie mic stick holder.
You got it.
Oh God.
This is not working at all.
Yeah. Oh God.
What we're trying
okay,
to.
but I'm taking them. I'm taking a lot of photos right now. They're all
Okay,
being
stop.
taken.
You got to. Okay, Joanna.
We lost her.
I would just say,
We lost her.
if you are in your car and you're listening to
Oh.
this, as most of you are, what you just heard was someone not using a selfie stick very
I
well.
was. Oh, now it's doing it. It's just
Oh,
taking.
yeah, it is.
It's
It is.
taking
Look,
It's
thousands
just a
of photos.
burst. It
Just going
literally
for
looks
it.
Burst
like
mode
300.
is somehow.
There you
yes.
go. No,
There you go.
These people are not
Helping
interested in
anybody.
what you're doing.
We've already taken 135
Okay.
photos.
So
it's
Joanna,
quickly
I'm gonna let you
rising.
troubleshoot that while we move on with
I
our
want
show.
to. I want to quickly talk about why I got this selfie stick because I got to CES. Well, two
She
stories.
just shut you down.
Joanna
We're
was
going
really
to be
worried
talking
that,
about
that
CES.
taping a Vergecast early without alcohol would somehow
Right.
make it less crazy, but she was wrong.
I do. Yeah, you're
Go
right.
ahead.
I don't need alcohol to talk about my love for the selfie stick. Two things. One, I went to Times Square the other day. I was shooting a video there, and everyone had a selfie stick. Meanwhile, my video was about how ridiculous you look when you take a photo with a tablet. But there were a lot of tablets, the big tablet thing.
Were
but
they
the-
on sticks?
They were not on sticks.
That's
Tablet
CES
selfie
2015.
sticks.
I saw one.
Sticks.
My first day, I saw a tablet on selfie stick here.
You saw that?
Okay.
Really?
Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, that was the first thing where I realized, okay, this is huge. Then you guys wrote something about the selfie stick. There was a number of
This
other
man
people
did.
writing about the selfie stick. And then I got to CES on Sunday, and I kid you not, I walked into CES Unveiled, and I just saw a flood of reporters with selfie sticks. And I felt like I must up my game to cover CES this year with a selfie stick.
Really?
We have to be competitive at the Wall Street Journal.
What are some examples of how you've upped your game? With the
She
selfie
bought a
stick?
stick.
I bought a stick, and actually this doubles as a walking stick as well. I
Oh my
used that the
God.
other day when
What?
walking through the CES desert. No, but I mean, people are. I mean, and it does help if you're shooting your own videos. I've seen a lot of that. I don't shoot my own videos, so that wasn't all that helpful to me.
You're not selling it very well.
Yeah.
Well, she's not selling her own personal selfie stick. This one is broken and takes hundreds
I'm
of
going
photos.
to. I'm pursuing getting more selfie sticks.
I like them. They get out of the way. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about the tablet. The tablet, it ruins everything. I mean,
true.
I get that it gives the person
Think
a great
about
photo,
that.
but you hold it above your head, and then you have another 7 inches of a screen for the person behind you to not see. But then somebody puts a tiny phone on a tiny stick, you have 30 of those.
Ah.
Everybody can see.
But Apple made the great point.
Tiny phones and tiny sticks.
Apple makes a huge point about how you need the viewfinder, the big viewfinder in your face.
Yeah.
Right? I actually did this review of the new Venue 8, which has this improved Intel RealSense camera.
Yeah.
And so I kind of talked about can a better camera on a tablet make us want to actually take photos with a tablet? Turns out the camera's not that good, so no. But,
By the way, I would like to. That is about as precise a summary of the Joanna Stern
review.
life as.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Is this hope real? No, because Dell made it. I've edited 1,000 of those reviews.
That's
of yours.
true. He used to edit many of my Dell netbook reviews, which, yeah.
So
But Dell came out with a really cool laptop
They
today.
came
Back
out
to
with the
today's
edge-to-edge screen.
news.
So I will say this: there are no tablets at this show.
Nope.
I haven't. I see tablets. I interviewed an older CEO today. He had an iPad and a really old BlackBerry, and basically I took in the gestalt of that scene. And I was like, well, your company is doomed. But that's it. That was basically the only iPad I've
Business
seen.
gets done on BlackBerry, Nilay.
Yeah, and then you use your iPad to browse the web.
Or the
but I
typo
haven't seen
keyboard.
any. I've seen lots of phones, and I've seen lots of Internet of Things that plug into cloud services and then phones. But no one here is showing a tablet of any kind, as far as I can tell.
Well, Dell
Samsung-
announced this Venue 8 today.
But the Venue 8 was announced, but
Right.
the reviews are all out. It's not a
Yeah.
big splashy announce, right?
Yeah.
People have had them. Then what is it? It's
No, I think I've had
what's
the
the
first
laptop that came out today? The edge-to-edge screen?
Oh, the XPS.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's actually far
Yeah.
more interesting product than the tablet. You're
Some
never
would
going to
say.
get, I don't know.
I mean, to me, I wanted to review the Venue because I thought the Intel RealSense thing, you were seeing all those commercials with Sheldon. Have you guys seen those? Where Sheldon,
Sadly, yes, I have.
Yeah, Sheldon shows up to a wedding with a huge tablet and he can refocus the photos or his
Sheldon
brain.
is
yeah.
from The Big Bang Theory.
You know who Sheldon is?
I don't watch
Sheldon.
CBS.
You know his name isn't actually Sheldon.
What is his real name?
Jim.
Jim Parsons, yes.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway, Sheldon is really into the RealSense camera.
Anyway, whatever, reality.
And yeah, Sheldon's really into the RealSense camera. And I was into the RealSense thing as well. They're going to do some really cool things with it. And so, eventually. It's similar to the one in the HTC One, the camera, what do they call it?
Oh, Ultra Pixels?
Yeah, no, the tap to focus thing. But now they use three
yeah.
different cameras. Anyway, I see
That's
you guys are not
HTC's plan.
interested in
No,
my
I'm
real
interested in
Curious. I mean, if Jim's
talk.
interested, I'm interested.
Yeah,
His name
Sheldon
is
is
Sheldon.
super into it. He is. And Sheldon has an XPS
Bazinga.
in Dell on the show.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm a
I think,
fan
I
of
think
The
it's
Big
really
Bang Theory.
interesting
Can
that
anyone tell?
tablets are basically not here. The most interesting laptop I've seen is the Dell one, and then
The
Apple,
Chromebook.
in its way, once
Yeah.
again tried to break CES with a big leak. And you can discuss the provenance of this leak any way that you want. But 95 Mac basically released renderings of a rumored 12-inch MacBook or MacBook Air. I think it will just be called the MacBook and be the low-end, cheap, netbooky Chromebook one, because that's what's missing in their line. And that's Chromebooks are going into education.
You think that's a low-end product?
Not it's Apple, so I think it'll be less expensive.
How do they differentiate
I
that
don't
from the
think so.
11?
I think they killed the 11.
Yeah, I think they killed the 11. I think they probably ends up killing the 11, but definitely keeping the 13-inch
Yeah.
and the low end. And I think that this 12-inch might be higher end.
I disagree.
I'm on Team Joanna here.
So, Tom, we should just get into this. So, Apple, again, on the first day of CES, is in the news. It's
Right.
just standard. It's actually surprising Apple didn't, Apple could do anything, right? Last year, they released, their supplier responsibility reports.
Oh, right. That was...
And it was, a big deal. This year, it's a bunch of leaked MacBooks. And you can believe or not that it happened on purpose, timed to this day. It's, I think, a little too coincidental, but whatever. But I will say...
We're talking about Mark Gurman's leak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's very suspicious to me that it's on this day.
I don't know if it's a lot of inside baseball, but I'm not sure that would be his sources.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my theory. It is this day. Anyway, so the leak was a really, really thin 12-inch MacBook Air with no connectors except for one USB Type-C connector, which is the new reversible one. And then Tom Warren went digging through USB specs and found that Apple has more engineers on that product than anyone except for Intel. More than Dell, more than HP, more than Foxconn. They're driving that standard the way that they tend to drive SIM card standards.
Yeah. Right.
And the thing is so thin that Broadwell won't work in it because Broadwell needs a fan. But what Intel chip will work in it is Core M, which can drive a Retina display, which is why we landed on this is more of a Chromebook thing. Which I think is brilliant because I think the iPad.
So you don't think it has a very high resolution because of the limitations?
No, I think it has a high-res screen, but I think it has very little raw processor power. I think it'll be great at browsing the web and typing some stuff and running
and
doing all the stuff I do with this very expensive laptop.
Right.
Right.
To me, it sounds, and that's why I think it might be higher end. To me, it sounds like a product like the original MacBook Air was, right?
Right.
And no ports, right? Now, seriously, no ports.
Yeah, USB and a headphone.
Yeah.
And think of the genesis of the original MacBook Air. Steve Jobs swore up and down that he would never release a crappy laptop. And granted, it's not Steve Jobs' Apple anymore, but
I think the Mac is having a little bit of a renaissance, and PCs are back. I think these things have.
I also heard gadgets are back.
Gadgets are back. This show's about gadgets, man.
I'm so happy that you think gadgets are back.
Because your career is safe.
I still have a job.
Yeah.
It's great that they're back.
Apps are cool. Don't you want to
Selfie sticks are
selfies?
This is the best gadget of 2015.
Don't wave that thing at me. So that's the thing. I mean, look, those are the two prevailing theories. One that's high-end and one that it's
Also, I
more
think that
low-end.
trackpad stuff he talked about is going to be really big.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it doesn't look like they'll bring a touchscreen to something like that unless we're going to see some other version of Mac operating system, which I don't think we're going to see if they're releasing this sometime soon. And he talked about how the trackpad doesn't actually have the click. I think I think there'll probably be some crazy touch stuff going on there.
well, then I won't buy it. I won't buy a computer that has a trackpad that doesn't click. That's nonsense.
Right.
Oh.
All right.
I will buy it.
So that's that. And then
I mean, I've been waiting for this moment. I cannot wait
for a 12-inch MacBook Air.
I just cannot wait for a new MacBook Air.
Okay, so just the fact that we're having this conversation on the stage here at CES in the looming shadow of Sony City, the walls of which I will one day scale.
Everyone turns and pays homage.
Yeah, that circle is Sony. You should go check it out, guys. They make a bunch of TVs, I guess. I don't know.
Are they a sponsor?
Sony?
Yeah.
No.
Thing, but no.
No, that's the. All right.
Only
Look at
that
the car.
beautiful Ford Mustang.
Everyone gaze at the car. I'll do it later. You know when you open the door of the car, it shines a Mustang on the ground? It's true.
Which is terrible if you're trying to break into someone's house. Not that you should ever do that with a Ford Mustang.
No, that's your getaway car.
You know, internally,
so fast, so powerful,
when they were developing
so
that,
smooth.
when they were developing that, internally is known as the Nilay light.
Yeah, the one that makes me buy a car. This really worked out in terms of a sponsor that makes a product that I want that I will never buy.
Guys, can we talk about that computer for one more second? Why it's wonderful? Because it's the same thing with the MacBook Air. That is the screenwriter computer. That is, and that's where the market is. That's the guy who is sitting in the cafe, wants a thing that is light as possible and looks nice, and is kind of small and a little, boutique, and he's gonna have his nice hat, and he's gonna write his little screenplay
You're
on
literally
it.
making
And he's
the iVerge
listening to
hipster comment right
John
now.
August on his podcast, and he's like, yeah, you're right. I did like Charlie.
I think of it
100%. I'd like to point out, we are in a coffee shop that we built where many of these people have MacBooks.
Wait, this is an iVerge argument? That made it sound
Like,
good.
And they're all listening to that artist.
You just
I
made
don't know the
iVerge
name
argument sound good.
but they're all listening to them
I did
right
not
now,
know that
and
that
not
made
you.
it sound good.
I mean, it made it sound like
I just
it made it sound like you were
checking
saying
Reddit.
it.
Like they're like, oh, I should be writing, but I guess once on R
Well, let me
NSFW.
take this.
Dude, you're a barista. That's what.
Let me take this to a darker place. I think of it more as the computer for Bradley Cooper's character from Limitless before he starts taking the pills.
Oh.
So he's in a really bad place in his life. He's trying to finish his book. He's not succeeding. All of his stuff sucks in his life, including all his gear, right? Because he's poor. He has nothing.
Somebody saw Limitless, and it was you.
I did not see this movie.
It affected me deeply. Anyway, that's where I think this computer's going to land. That's the demographic.
It's the pills.
It's
the 12-inch MacBook Air helps you use 100% of your brain capacity.
Yes. That's the ad campaign right there.
Gambling mastermind.
And make a better movie called Lucy.
Yeah, fair.
It's a movie joke.
So, Chris, you've been driving cars for 3 days now. Tell me what's going on in cars. That's why you're on the show. Do the thing that you do.
What, I can't be on the show just because I'm cool. Just I'm a cool dude. I have to drive cars. Is that what I'm hearing?
Dude, Chris is having his own
your
private CES.
I've heard this joke. It's not a joke. It's absolutely true. People have told this to me at least a half dozen times since yesterday. They're like, just go do your private CES. We get it. We get you can't go to this event.
Yeah.
You're off doing whatever.
You can't see Samsung's floating lady.
You only can cover cars?
I will say this, though. Chris has promised me a self-driving Knight Rider car tomorrow.
It's true.
So I'm ready for that.
It's true. It's happening.
That's the only reason this is allowed.
It's all happening for you right now.
So Ford had big news this morning? They had
Ford. So I was on my way to another event, and Ford released something like 35 press releases in the span of a minute, and my heart dropped. And I looked through it. Yeah, so they're doing some really interesting stuff. The combined package of all these releases is called Smart Mobility, which is a buzz phrase. But they're getting into car sharing. They have like 4 or 5 different car sharing experiments that they're running globally, which seems counterintuitive because they're cannibalizing their own business.
Yeah.
Right, but so I was just talking to them at their booth. And they raised the good point, which is that car sharing is going to happen whether they're involved or not.
Really?
So they might as well get ahead of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of their attitude. They're like, look, we just want to be on the leading edge. Like, yes, it might be bad for our business, but at least we want to be at the front of it instead of at the back of it.
Right. If they're going to be shared cars, they want there to be Fords.
Exactly.
I'd like to share that Mustang with my.
Just
Where
with
is
you.
this Mustang you're talking about? Is it really
you
there?
You can barely see it back
It's there. It's blue.
Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's just a guy.
That man said
Hello,
that it's
sir.
right there.
I'm sorry that Joanna
Oh
named you
yeah,
Mustang.
I think he told me that it matches my shirt.
Everyone standing by the car is now named Mustang.
It matches my shirt.
That's if you just walk over there and touch it, you can nickname yourself
He
Mustang
said
for the
that
rest
was
of the day.
mine because
name all
my
your
shirt
children
is
Mustang.
blue and the car is blue.
What?
John Mustang Doe.
That's the experience we offer here at The Verge.
You realize
if you touch our car, you can give yourself a nickname as long as it's the name of the car.
You have to
Tomorrow
name...
we're bringing in a Fiesta. Fiesta plants, like walking out of here.
You have to name your child Mustang Patel.
Really
we will, and then that child will either be a stripper or a stripper. That'll be great.
Anyway, so yesterday I spent part of the day with BMW, which is one of the freakiest demos I've ever done. Last year, they did a self-drifting car. BMW loves to do spectacular stuff at CES. They have done it for a while. Yesterday they did 2 i3s, one of which they encouraged to have me drive as fast as possible into a wall. So I did that, and the car stopped itself automatically.
Really?
Yes. And so they set up this course of, it looks like Super Mario blocks, except that they want you to run into them. And as you get close, the car very politely and softly beeps at you. And then it just stops. But what's freaky is that it stops with like a ½ inch before you hit the object. And then they're like, okay, now turn into this wall so the side of the car is going to scrape. Won't let you. Then they ask you to parallel park it.
So it's like driving a car in a force field?
Basically. Yes,
weird.
This is the future. Your car is going to become uncrashable, and it's kind of amazing. So that was the first demo. And then the second demo was a self-parking car where you get out and then use your smartwatch. They were using a Samsung Galaxy or Gear S. You tap a button on the watch, and the car just slowly like wanders off and finds a spot. Which
That's
is
awesome.
What?
Yeah, and then you press it again, and it comes back to you.
I followed this little trend. I interviewed Android Auto's Andy Brenner, I don't know what his title is today, but I was asking about the integration that could happen with the with Google, with Wear and Android Auto, and it seems like that could be something really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I have my phone or my watch out. So the idea for like unlocking the keys or that kind of thing, remembering where your parking spot is, your location, that seems really cool.
And Hyundai's already doing this. They showed their Blue Link Android Wear app, where you can start the car, stop the car, lock the doors remotely. You know, if my car was parked.
Is there like some sort of authentication thing that's happening?
Yeah, it's a 4-digit PIN.
Okay.
So theoretically, if somebody stole your watch and knew your PIN, they could start your engine in another state.
Okay.
But as long as you don't run into that situation. So with the BMW, on the return trip, I got into the car in the passenger seat with no one else in the car. And I cannot tell you what an uncomfortable experience that is.
Really?
To have a car drive itself.
That's my dream.
It would actually freak me out less if it was going at highway speeds, but the fact that it was going like 5 miles an hour, just kind of meandering back and forth and, you know, turning very carefully while I'm sitting in the passenger seat, just hoping it doesn't take off, is
like the NVIDIA demo car?
Yes.
Constantly accelerated.
Just going,
160 miles an hour. That sounds like a very advanced system for driver assistance.
It is, and
like an ADAS of some kind.
It is an ADAS of some kind. 2 years ago.
What is the word?
Advanced driver assistance system.
No, but how do you spell that?
ADAS.
ADAS.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
ADAS.
I was thinking. Anyway, I know.
You were thinking the number 8 and then the word ass.
Yes,
Eight
that
ass.
is what I was thinking.
Yeah,
It's not
and
bad.
that's NVIDIA's code name. It's really confused. It got messed up along the way.
Or ATE ass is what I was thinking too.
It just keeps getting worse.
Got it.
So
Joanna, why did we let you on the show?
I don't know.
It's okay. I was thinking
I don't
about
have the
how
answer
number
to that.
8, if you turn it sideways, kind of looks like an ass. So it'd
No.
be like 8 ass.
that's the
That
infinity
is
symbol.
smart.
Yeah, well,
That
what can I
Guys,
say?
this is
Really?
the worst branding campaign that
No,
has
that
ever
is the
taken
name
place.
of our next company. That is an amazing logo idea for an amazing company name.
We're
I
gonna
want,
be
I want a
rich.
button in the center of the table that's an off the rails alert, and you hit it
But
when
it's a butt.
Yeah.
You
when,
just keep your hand down the entire.
yeah, and there's like a reggae horn that goes off. Anyway, so
I will say this. I was interviewing somebody just near the LG booth, which is also near the House of Marley booth. And they were like, I'm very sorry, this reggae music never stops playing.
yeah, but that's kind of chill. I mean, that's a good scene. If you're going to be at CES, I'd want to be near the House of Marley booth.
It was just really, he was just like, I'm very sorry, your audio is going to be all messed up because this reggae music never stops.
By like day 10, your ears are bleeding. You're like, please.
Well, no, we are stuck.
And you've
Our
got
trailer
dreadlocks
is
coming out of your
near
ears.
the Volkswagen demo
Is this still
of
on?
the self-parking cars.
They muted my mic. They definitely muted my mic.
No, you're here.
I hope. Well, as soon
They're
as you
like,
start,
okay, just mute
as
her
soon
mic
as you
and
started
switch
your like unlicensed focus group all on your own,
I'm well on that idea.
worst brainstorm of all time. I'm just laying it out there.
The 8 looks like an
No,
ass. It's
you gotta stop
amazing.
saying it. Also, stop sexualizing numbers.
It helps if you close your eyes.
Numbers are very sexy.
We're done. That was the show.
Numbers
It was
are a
25
sexy
minutes long. We're done. CES 2015.
You ever look close at number 3?
We don't have booth babes. We're just printed numbers
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, Joanna's right.
No, he's over there. He can't, unless he's doing it with his mind, he's not doing it.
Yeah, Joanna's off the air now. We took her off the air.
I'm fine with it. Wow.
Technical challenges.
Okay, great. Well, while they solve that, continue your stories about cars.
Well, so I'll just say that the rate of advancement in this field is ridiculous because 2 years ago, Audi did a demo, a self-parking demo, where they needed to set up all of these special beacons in the parking garage so that the car could understand where to go. And they don't need that anymore because the sensors that they put around the cars are so advanced that they can map the environment in real time and park that way. So that they don't need, and the parking garage doesn't need to be outfitted for self-parking anymore. You can park anywhere.
But that's the scary part. That's the thing we were talking briefly about yesterday with NVIDIA's ADAS, when it's like, oh, it's going to learn. First it'll learn the signs. Then it'll learn the people.
Yeah.
Then it'll learn how democracy works.
Then it's kind of,
then this car will be president.
Then it will learn how to do keynotes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Then it will get the oil.
Wait, the keynotes have been delivered by cars the whole time.
No, that's good. Wait.
I mean, but this is the thing I feel like always with auto stuff at CES. We see all this crazy blank. And we curse on here still? I forget.
It's like
Ish. You can say ish.
A lot of the rules
You're
have
allowed to
changed.
curse in the Vergecast until Apple develops filtering software
Okay.
good enough to catch it and then not give us the explicit tag in iTunes.
Okay.
It's a little inside baseball, which is Apple doesn't have robots listening to the show.
For the cheap MacBook Air. That's not going to be cheap.
I mean, look, you've already
not gonna be cheap.
talked about boning numbers, like great details.
I
so
did.
At this point,
Love
what do we
numbers.
have left to lose?
Love numbers.
Go ahead.
But I feel like we always see all this great stuff, and then the reality comes that our society is not moving fast enough to allow us to have any of this great stuff.
Yeah,
and I get very angry that
Yeah.
we don't have great stuff.
I've heard that exact message from several executives
gadgets are back.
this week. And gadgets are back.
Wait, we have what? The society doesn't move
But-
fast enough for our cars to drive themselves?
But gadgets are not mired in a regulatory nightmare. Cars are.
Right.
And so that's what everybody is saying, is that the technology, as always, is moving much faster than the government is. It's a shocker.
Right.
And so we're going to end up with a perfect or close to perfect self-driving car long before agencies are going to know what to do about
We need a
it.
super cool nickname for people who like have illegal self-driving cars. Like
Yes.
free riders.
And then we make a movie starring
for
Tom Hardy.
legal, like
Because
owning.
you'll have the car, but it'll be illegal.
Right.
Oh.
Right? So like
You have this underground society of like
people who don't
self-drivers.
drive their cars.
Right.
People who are just like they're in the driver's seat pretending
Some
to
sort of
drive.
like,
But like they're wearing sunglasses, but really they're asleep.
It's
feel like a weekend at Bernie's. You have weekend at Bernie's.
First, find a dead late relative.
Right.
Second, put him in the driver's seat.
Dude, no, this is how you
Bernie.
finally
We need Weekend at
reboot
Bernie's.
The Weekend at Bernie's
Bernie.
franchise.
I keep calling him Weekend at Bernie's, man. His name is Bernie.
Yeah.
We need Bernie.
In the title.
No, Weekend at Bernie's Weekend at Burning Man is the next episode.
Wait, and then
You
put
put
him in
Bernie
Ubers.
in the front seat, and you just sit while he drives you to
No,
work.
that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Weekend at Bernie's 2025, self-drive. That's the
Into
name
it.
of the movie that I'm pitching.
just bring back all the original.
I don't know if
This is-
anyone from Sony Pictures is over there in Sony City, but we have a great idea for Weekend at Bernie's 2025.
No, that is a
self-drive.
really interesting idea.
It's not a really interesting idea.
Yeah, no, I like it.
It's gonna be called ADAS.
Your three
That's our
ideas of the
company
show so far
idea.
have
We
been
find the corpses. We network.
We get 8 asses
Network with
put
the
in
corpses?
8 car seats.
no. Everyone
we
stop
bring them
it.
together.
Joanna, tell us more about your
A social network
is
for
only
corpses
partially
where you
functional.
Right, and that's
Connect
where
with
they
them.
no, you put them in the driver's seat when you have your illegal self-driving car,
Yeah.
and then you're able to drive yourself to work.
Or
It's
the
like
corpse.
OK Cupid.
I don't think the requirement is just a body, living or dead.
Tinder
It
for
is.
corpses.
You just
Swipe left.
no.
Swipe left.
I'm not sure you
Oh,
guys
there's Grandpa.
understand the
Swipe right.
idea. You guys understand the idea?
I'm very clear on the idea. The idea does not have contours. Right? Like,
I think-
the idea is pretty straightforward.
clear?
It's, yeah.
We'll be talking after.
Yeah. It makes
Are
sense.
there any investors, any VCs with something to prove?
Yeah.
Joanna Stern has an idea for you. It's
Chris is
robbing,
in it
it's
also.
robbing
It's
morgues.
terrifying.
Okay, we hijacked your conversation.
I don't even remember what I was talking about, if
It
I'm
was
being honest.
cars.
Cars, yes, cars.
What? I do have a question to go back into the deep. What is required legally to like have a car? So like I have
Well,
a self-driving car. How much do I have to touch the wheel before it becomes illegal?
So right now,
That makes sense, right?
How much do you have to not touch the wheel?
Well,
before
yeah,
you-
sure. Well, yeah, for it to
Before
become
we-
illegal,
right.
yeah.
so the NHTSA, the National Highway Safety Transportation Administration,
Wait.
is the worst.
Okay.
They have 4 levels of self-driving that they've defined. It's level 1 is like cruise control. Level 2 is adaptive cruise, and then goes up to level 4, which is where you can basically sleep. And lower levels are not totally clear on the regulatory framework here, but the lower levels are obviously legal, and the higher levels are being approved on a provisional basis on a state-by-state level. So, like Florida is allowing self-driving cars for testing purposes. California is, of course, and Nevada is. So actually, Audi was able to drive a self-driving car from Palo Alto to Vegas this week.
Right. I would not be surprised.
No one in the driver's seat.
Right. Well, no. They had someone in the driver's seat. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised if Florida is totally first to completely allow self-driving cars
because
they have
they're
a
all
super
old.
elderly population.
Yeah.
And the
that would be
second I can buy my
amazing.
parents a self-driving car, I will.
What about a self-driving go-kart or golf cart?
Yeah. I was in
A
Florida a
self-driving
couple
golf
weeks
cart
ago.
is
It
like-
is so bad on the
It's
roads.
such a waste of technology.
What?
What?
Have you ever been to the Villages in Florida? That's gajillions of dollars. It's like it is like
that's
a
how they get
mecca,
around.
a giant city of
A utopia.
elderly people. And it is a utopia. They all make love.
It is a...
They do. A giant STD rate. It's awful. It's like Florida State. Anyway.
Geriatric STDs.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have nothing to lose. Live life to the
I feel
fullest.
like I'm not
anyway,
doing a good job
my point
hosting
is,
this show.
They have like tons of golf cart areas.
No,
and
I
you
was
could, like,
there.
throw
I was
people
in Florida
there,
2
and
weeks
then they all
ago.
have to drive the golf carts.
And got a geriatric
They're not
STD.
ragdolls. You can't.
That's what happened to me a couple weeks
You can't
ago.
just throw people into the golf
made
cart.
Today on the Vergecast, we talked about that time I went to Florida by Chris Plante. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What did you do here? What did you do for your job today in Vegas?
They're right over there. They're like right there. So I saw the levitating speaker.
Okay.
Right? And I was like, this is great. How does the magic work? And they're like, oh, it's magnets. It's really strong magnets. And you have to use like a device just to get them balanced, one magnet like field over the other. And that's what makes the speaker float. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But since they're strong magnets, what can they stick to? And the guy was like, I don't know. And I was like, could it stick to your phone? And he's like, we can try. And it did. So then I was like, can it stick to this wall bracket? And he's like, I don't know. So then I tried that. And it did that too.
So
then I had a big idea.
Yeah.
Levitating, cool, neat, not useful for me. But it works in 33
Useful
feet
for
for
who?
12 hours. You go
Oh my God, you really
into your
did write
neighbor's
this
house,
story.
You put it up way high in their house, and then you just randomly turn on music. And you're like, I don't know, maybe there's a ghost in your house. Maybe you should pay me money to hear that ghost.
So
you live in New York? I have like 20 neighbors I could do that to.
So wait, your plan, and I just want to sketch this one out really specifically.
I'm what's called an entrepreneur. I don't know if you've caught this so
is
far.
to
You're a
hide magnet
portrepreneur.
Bluetooth
Yeah.
speakers anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm
so you
also
can
a
start a
portrepreneur.
fake ghost busting company.
Yeah.
Do you realize that's what the EPA in the movie Ghostbusters thought was happening?
You want to
Here's
extort.
the other thing.
Like you have
Also,
validated
this product is called the
bad
Air
guy
2.
in the Ghostbusters
As if that is
movie.
not a product
See?
already.
Oh, yeah.
No, Air Squared. Air Squared.
Oh, Air Squared. That's how
Yes,
they pronounce
Air Squared.
it. Nobody's going to know that.
Yes. No, yeah. I'm safe.
I'm-
also, I live
How
in
close
a
are
police
they?
station
Hang on.
in New York. This
You
is
want
like
to
literally one public
extort.
service
You want
away
to
from
extort
Ghostbusters.
senior citizens with herpes in Florida.
That's step one. Step two, then after they've had a nice, very long life,
Yeah.
I borrow their corpses to drive cars on my giant Uber national service.
This is all coming
Step
full
three,
circle.
When
Just
people are
like
like,
ADAS.
what happened to them? I say that their ghosts have returned to their children, and then I volunteer
It's
to
too
exercise
much.
those ghosts.
What is the purpose of putting this on things?
Why not?
What is the purpose of making it float?
Okay, that's a totally valid question.
It apparently I have been told it makes the acoustics better. I listened to Rihanna on it. Rihanna
So this just
always
floats
excellent,
up
but-
like
Seems
this,
legit.
and if you
Yeah, if-
I'm
mount
just
it,
saying,
yeah,
in
like if
the
you could,
actual movie Ghostbusters.
but it has to be on a
On a magnet
horizontal
thing.
surface.
Well,
If I
yeah.
put it on the wall, it's going to fall.
Yes. It will. Yes, that
So
gravity
you're-
will take effect and send it to the ground.
Well, that's what I was wondering why you covered this. If that is
Also,
why.
doesn't your
oh
mark...
well, no, the magnet works on
the magnet, but
on a
this
flat,
part
on a horizontal
only.
surface.
This part only.
Oh, the floating?
Yeah.
Only, yeah. That requires gravity's help.
Got it.
So, once again, I'd like to point out that in the movie Ghostbusters,
Okay.
This looks like something by Brookstone.
corrupt EPA official William Peck told the Ghostbusters
Yes.
that they were putting on a sound and light show to confuse old people and then shut down the containment grid and made the Stay Puft Marshall and Man destroy New York City. But you're saying that if they said that to you, they would be correct because
Yes.
you would be putting on a sound
Because
and
there
light
would,
show.
in fact, be no real Slimer.
Okay. Just
what I'm saying.
What else have you done here today, Chris?
Let's see. I can't talk about that. That's embargoed for tomorrow.
Okay.
But it's gonna be good. It's on the level. I also looked at OS.
Well, this is your first CES. This is your first day on the show floor.
Oh, I love it now.
You love it because you were not. You were very skeptical yesterday.
The reality is, I'm surrounded by playthings.
Yeah.
None of which make sense to me.
No.
And I get to break them, and the people are bemused by it because I seem quaint to them.
So you just act stupid at booths and break things.
Yeah.
Can I wander the show floor with you?
And they see my name tag, like, oh, you're from The Verge. I'm like, oh, you don't know what you're in for yet.
I'm just going to wander with the selfie stick and just
I will say this. Verge
him.
reporters, I think particularly me, have a long reputation for playing with anything and immediately crashing the operating system. I tried to do a Google TV demo at Sony yesterday, and I crashed the main Android TV demo. I crashed the main Android TV runtime like 4 times in a row. And it got super Android-y. Like, it's a TV, right? And like seeing like the Android error message on the screen that's like, you just like stopped.
Yeah.
Like Android TV has stopped, and everyone was like, it's
not a good user experience.
And then like the guy took it back and immediately did a flawless demo.
Also, I feel like I've heard Nilay say he checked out an Android TV the last 10 years of this show and crashed it.
What I do here is I go to the television companies and I yell at them.
How many years have you been covering an Android TV or Google TV thing at this show?
This is 8. It's easily 8.
That's crazy.
But now it's like the TV companies are bemused by my presence. I'm like, when are you going to get rid of that cable box? And they're like, you don't see the future like we do. Like, they've just stopped even trying to answer the question when I ask it. They just like deflect me. They're like, we brought a Mustang to the booth. And like, it's all over.
They jingle their keys.
Yeah.
This also feels like a headline that you guys have written probably like 45 times
What's
in a different
that
way.
headline?
Google TV is finally dead. Long live Android TV. But I feel like that happened 2 years ago.
That story is old. That didn't go up today, did it? What are you talking about?
This went up on January 6, 2015.
What day is today?
Today.
Today is today. It's a tautology. It's true.
But what? Okay, Dieter is drunk.
No, but I mean, what he's saying is right?
It's accurate.
Google TV is dead again. Now it's Android TV. In a couple of years again, it'll be
Google TV.
Google TV. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's talking about developer platform tools and stuff, but I'm just saying this is a constant ping pong every year.
I'm pretty sure Dieter is like, he's expressing feelings like in a really deep way.
Feels.
Dieter's having bone feels, because today Palm was officially purchased by Alcatel, and so Palm is back. Hard day. And like
Palm is not back.
Dieter heard this news and like, you know that emoji of like the crying and the tears are just like flying off to the side. Like that was Dieter for about 5 minutes.
Let me explain. Let me explain how this went down.
I feel like I should give Dieter my seat. Is he here?
Dieter abandoned us to put up this post.
Dieter is like Johnny Depp's wife in Transcendence, where she's like, I need to bring him back, and then she plugs Palm into the Matrix. And Palm comes
just
back
keeps restructuring itself.
Right. But it's not really Palm. It's like a fake Palm, right? And then Palm destroys the world.
Do they only let you into the movie theater when the movie sucks? And they're like, sorry, sir, you're directing this way. And you're like, but I'm with them. Like, no, you're not.
Wait, I like the idea that Palm can execute anything on the level of like destroying the world.
Well, you got to put in the Matrix
Palm
first.
could barely like release a cell phone.
But Palm in the Matrix is another story.
Yeah. I don't know. Joanna, what else have you seen today? We only have a few minutes left here. What's been going on with you?
I've been at the Wall Street Journal booth all day.
Yeah, but you've been talking to people
Stipples.
all
Yeah,
day.
you can make stipples there,
You can make stipples there. Everyone should come. Make stipples.
I'm going to do that.
Oh, it's on. I mean, in terms of wrecking a storied trademark of the Wall Street Journal, we're stealing that stipple shit, and we are running with it.
Fine.
The Verge 2015, stippled up.
Does Rupert Murdoch listen to this podcast?
And you call him Rupert now. That's
I
the
did call him
She
that.
said Roop Dog.
Huh?
I did not say that. I call him Mr. Murdoch if I do run into it.
Root Beast Extreme. That's his DJ name.
I think it is the tradition, though, for me to come on this podcast and things to be said about whoever I work for or people I work for.
Because we're luring you back in by burning all of your current employers.
Last year it was Diane Sawyer. 2 years ago.
Yeah, DJ Diane Extreme.
Yeah.
How is Diane? You talk to her?
Sometimes I do talk to her.
Okay. Who have you been talking to today? Like beyond stippling
Honestly,
yourself?
the most popular post I did here, and I might just stop working, is that I saw the future at CES, and it is ordering Girl Scout cookies online.
I mean, that is a game changer.
It is the only thing I've seen at the show that will change my life.
Yeah.
Can you order them whenever you want?
You have to still know a Girl Scout.
So it still goes
How
through
does
the
it
local
verify? Like, how does it verify that you know a girl?
I mean,
that seems like a
I'm
really
going to explain it to you,
thorny
and you should
problem.
actually read the piece because it is interesting about why you still need to know a Girl Scout, because the whole reason there are Girl Scout cookies is to teach these girls about business and management and money and all that kind of stuff, right? That was the intention of
No,
why
the intention is to sell delicious cookies.
That is also what the real intention is.
Yeah.
But, so you still need to know a Girl Scout to buy the cookies. They either have an iPad app, well, it's an Android or an iOS app that they can load up. You just put in your information. No more like little form where you fill it out. They take credit card. This is huge, guys. I don't know if you order Girl Scout cookies in your office.
I'm excited. I was just worried that it was like a way for Girl Scouts of America to make lots of money and then not have like local troops getting the cash.
No. This is the girls are really at the heart of this. I sound like the PR person that I talked to yesterday. The girls are at the heart of this. We're encouraging entrepreneurship.
So how do you verify that you know a Girl Scout?
So a Girl Scout you'd have the iPad app or whatever, or they would come to your house or whatever. That's one option. The other option is that they can make a website, and then that link can be sent out by their parents, by their friends, can even be posted to Facebook, which I think is a little bit dicey. I don't know if, that could get circulated and more people could be finding out about these girls, but they say they can't post personal information on there. They only can post their first name. They're not supposed to post photos and that kind of stuff. And so you can just go onto the website, order the cookies, put in your shipping information, credit card information, you get your Girl Scout cookies.
So this definitely seems like you don't actually have to know a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
You have to have access to it.
If you have that link.
Joanna just winked at me, like straight up, just winked at me. She was just like, "You do," and then we just moved on as though a wink hadn't occurred.
So Girl Scout
in
links
this
are the cryptocurrency of the future. It's going to be, people
That's
are trading like, I know a Girl Scout.
The Girl Scout cookie crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate like 20 Samoas.
They only go by Todd, and I have to write down the number on paper. I'd appreciate if you don't
burn her website. I can't put it on Facebook. Yeah, Betty's giving me what I need.
Use a GeoCities site to conduct the transaction.
I think this is the main thing I've seen that will change my life at CES.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Samoas.
Tagalongs.
I had some yesterday. I have a huge box of Girl Scout cookies in my room if anybody wants to.
Party at Joanna's place.
Well, I mean, set up a website.
If you'd like to stop by.
I'm just saying, set up a website. Learn a little bit about
I've gotten married since I've been on this podcast.
Chris, they gave Joanna
I should
a
just
taste.
say that. I've gotten married since I've been on this podcast.
What does that have to do with your Girl Scout cookies?
I just invited everyone to my room for Girl Scout cookies.
That just sounds creepy in all sorts of other ways.
Well, she's, continuing with the dealer analogy, she's giving people a taste.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
God.
Okay. Anyway, other things that I covered.
Yeah.
I interviewed Ryan Seacrest.
How's he
without a typo.
in Hollywood?
What?
Was he drinking his juice?
He was not drinking his juice.
It's like a liquid diet.
He looks very fit and golden.
Well, he probably spends 6 months of the year working out just for New Year's Eve because that's his Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think every day is a Super Bowl. I think that's a man who wakes up every day and
has a Super Bowl.
I'm gonna have 8 jobs today.
Yeah.
So what do you have it? Where's the typo? You have the iPhone 6 typo somewhere.
I thought you were pointing to this guy. Yeah, no, this is the iPhone 6 typo.
No, that's an iPhone 6.
6 Plus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is the typo too.
No, that's not a 6 Plus case.
No, this is he has a 6 Plus.
Oh.
That is an iPhone 6 case.
Hello, sir.
With a keyboard.
Okay, well, you made one good decision, one bad decision. So wait, how is this typo? So you interviewed Seacrest because of the typo. We talked about the typo on when you were on the show last year.
Yes,
too.
1 year ago. That's basically all I'm good for here. Is talking about a really crappy keyboard case.
With a rip-off BlackBerry keyboard once a year. It's like Christmas.
I hope there's another one next year that's better than this.
Are you into this? Are you going to use it?
I've been using it for like a month and a half on and off. It's not very good.
This does seem like garbage.
Actually, Sean
also,
Hollister at Gizmodo
board?
did a really great thing. No,
in terms of finishing a product, you should not be able to just turn it over and see the raw circuit board.
Oh,
Good job, Seacrest.
Look, he's a busy man.
Anyway, their news is that they made an iPad keyboard, which looks pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. A new iPad keyboard.
I don't know how I feel about this.
It's pretty thin.
It does light up. I do like things that light up.
They're not going to make a keyboard for the Apple Watch. I did ask him that. He said no.
What's your unfiltered opinion on the Apple Watch? Because
it needs a keyboard, obviously.
There's a handful of watches here.
Naturally,
it needs a keyboard. Like every Apple product, it needs a keyboard.
Yeah. That's because Apple loves keyboards.
Right. They love physical
keyboards. That's what they're known for.
Yeah.
No, tell me. What do you think? Because I was playing with the Sony Smartwatch, and then, who else did one today?
Alcatel?
Alcatel did one, and there's obviously all the Samsung stuff over there.
The design is interesting to me. When I put it on, it didn't look too big on me, which was like the first thing I was really worried about. I really like the gold one with the red band. I'm really into that.
That's your move.
I really want them to make a rose gold one. I will definitely buy that. It'll match my engagement ring.
Because you're married.
Because I'm married now.
You can come up for cookies, but nothing else. My favorite Girl Scout cookie is called the Hanky Panky.
Off the rails button.
I'm just hitting this butt.
But there's two things that I am really excited about with it is to see what the fitness capabilities are. Like I think they're going to really market that, and I think it's probably not going to be very good.
Nope.
For me, this whole health monitoring, heart rate thing has just been a total failure. I did like a huge thing a couple of weeks ago on how all of these heart rate things are completely inaccurate. Like really, really inaccurate. I went to a cardiologist, measured all of these different things. The only ones that are super accurate are the ones you wear on around your waist or your chest. Here, whatever that's called, and I think they're gonna make a huge deal out of all this, and I just really wonder how it's gonna work.
Right.
And then the notification thing, I just don't think iOS is in a place to make that transition to the wrist. And I think Android Wear has been getting a lot better with some of that.
And
still
all these
not
other
there,
people,
but way better with Lollipop. And I just don't think iOS is there, so I don't know.
Right, but here at CES, my big theme of the show is that when I keep saying gadgets are back, I mean these ecosystems are big enough to support all this other stuff.
Right.
And I see it with Android in way different ways than I see it with iOS, right? So iOS, there is HealthKit and HomeKit, and people are building towards it, and all the car stuff here.
HealthKit is a nightmare.
Right, but Android Health exists just the same way.
Right.
Android Wear is I think farther along in terms of here's a way for this platform to be extended in all these other places. But then on the flip side, Apple's hardware ecosystem of things is
always
stronger
really
in a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
And that's the race as far as I can tell. Is you can enable more kinds of devices across more places. And it's funny, Google's way behind, it's CES 2015 and Google's just introducing Google Cast for audio. And they're really proud of it. And it's yo, you invented Bluetooth streaming again. That's as far as you got, right?
Well, to me, that seems just like an extension of people know what Chromecast is now. We can take advantage of that.
I don't think it's a totally cynical brand opportunity. I think it's to make Cast work, you need to send just audio sometimes. But they should have done that 3 years ago.
Okay.
Right, and that's what I mean. Everyone's. I think iOS and Android are basically the new Windows and Mac, right? Those operating systems are doing what they do and they're fine, but all of the innovation is going to happen on these places now across all of these screens that we see, and they're the new foundation and they connect up to the cloud. And so the race is to build out those platforms as fast as possible. And what I think is fascinating is the only screen that isn't being touched by that, or the only type of device that isn't being touched by that, are these TVs that surround us. And Samsung's this is a great place for us to invest in Tizen.
But Android TV, Google TV, that is Google's
No,
play.
but even that's the mistake, right? Because that's not, there's still basically a smartphone glued to the back of Sony's TV running Android, right?
So they just don't communicate with each other.
Right.
I think that goes back to some of the car stuff where I think Google sits in a really interesting place. And even though they're not the ones who are doing this kind of the integration with Wear, the car companies are doing it, there seems like a big opportunity there.
Yeah. Well, they're playing this they're in this dance with car companies because historically automakers are very precious about managing the experience in the car. And so both Apple and Google have had to say, we don't want to touch your dashboard. We don't want to muck with that amazingness you've created there. We just want to be an alternative that you can switch into.
Right.
And so, but they're not encumbered in that same way with some of these other platforms. With Android Wear, there's nothing that they don't have to dance around anything.
Right. No, I was walking around here, the show floor, with like car company executives today, just like shooting the shit. Why am I worried about swearing?
It's not allowed anymore.
Anyway, so we were walking around, and we were at the Panasonic booth where they have like the demo of how Panasonic can build you this stuff, just like every other. And like literally, the demo starts with like the words "your OEM screen," and there's a button that says "Go to Google" and a button that says "Go to Apple," and then a bunch of cool stuff happens. And they're like, and then the demo ended with, "And don't worry, you push this button and it says your OEM screen again." And it's like that's a mistake. Like the automakers are going to necessarily have to lose that battle. But then again, do you want Google to control like the air conditioning in your car, or more importantly, like the NVIDIA demos? One of the boxes was like drivetrain, and I was like, you guys can't build a fake speedometer that isn't covered in bamboo. Like, I don't want you anywhere near how my car is starting and stopping. Like, you have bad ideas about what this should even look like. Like, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Where do you see that? I mean, that this is year 2 of this, basically.
Yeah, well, so Hyundai, I think, strangely, maybe it isn't that strange, but Hyundai is really kind of taking the lead on a lot of this stuff. They did the watch, and they're also doing this thing called, I want to say it's called display mode, where their entry-level navigation system, shouldn't call it navigation system, it's just a dumb terminal in your dash that supports CarPlay and Android Auto, and that's all it does.
And both of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they are like maybe the first ones or the only ones that signed to do that.
And then all the other stuff just has buttons.
Yeah.
Right. So
there's like all the air conditioning and the HVAC. And
exactly. So they're just basically saying, fine, we understand that drivers just want to see their smartphone in a car-friendly way. That's cool. Go do your thing. We're going to step out of the way. But on their high-end cars, they're still stepping in with their own UI.
What are high-end Hyundais called?
There are some like really expensive Hyundais.
That was a sick burn. Yeah, it's kind of true now. Like a high-end, like a fully loaded Sonata is probably like a $35,000 car.
Did they mute me again?
We used to have an intern named Hyunwoo, and he drove a high-end Hyundai.
What?
It's true. It's actually true.
That's just 3 sounds that sound the same.
You had an intern named
That was the whole joke that I made. Hyunwoo, our intern.
I don't know him.
He was great.
Yeah, and he's living in South Korea. But anyway, so even Hyundai,
about our old intern.
Even Hyundai, which
One time he went to Florida,
I have some tales about some old Verge interns.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
That was before you were married.
Yeah, it was before I was married.
That's not a story. That story is not
off
the story.
the rails. Just the button. I'm hitting it.
That brings me back.
Can you tell me just real quick,
brings me back
right
my
before I
times
end,
with the
I
old
want you to tell me a story. Did you go to Mercedes today? The
No.
Mercedes keynote? Ross went.
Ross went last night.
Last night. So I am reliably informed that the CEO of Mercedes gave the keynote with a little buddy, which was a gigantic robot eyeball. Mm-hmm. And I really wish I'm just looking at this picture, and it seems like what we have not talked about today is how much of a spectacle CES still is in any way. Have you seen any spectacle stuff, Chris?
Oh, yeah. I saw, it's basically an iPad on wheels, and then you can do like teleconferencing on it.
Yeah,
we have one of those in the office.
Yeah, I'm explaining it for everyone else who doesn't live
These
with
people
one
are
of
at
these
CES watching the
attacking
Vergecast.
you while you're working every day. And somebody's like, oh,
I
hi.
don't live with one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there's like a 35-foot one surrounded by like 20 of them in the South Hall. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And the PR person's like, yeah, sometimes we make the small ones dance around the large ones. And I'm like, cool. I have to go.
Before they kill me.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your spectacle story?
I don't have any spectacles per se. Just a lot of. I mean, unless
You got a little spectacle going right here with the selfie stick.
I mean, crashing.
Stern learned a new trick, everybody.
Being denied the basic human right to crash into a wall is kind of a spectacle.
Wait, what was
Did
your
you do
reaction
that?
when they told you to crash into the wall? You're like,
you have
I'm
a video
going for
of
it?
Yeah, it's on the site. It's on
Okay.
theverge.com.
What's the website?
Theverge.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Theverge.com.
You might know it.
But so when they first asked me to do it, I'm like, cool. And I went like 2 miles an hour into it, and they're like, no, we want you to be way more aggressive. Just floor it.
I will watch that.
Wait, can we talk about that with spectacle, right? We've had a self-driving car doing its shtick outside of our trailer non-stop for the past 2 days, and all I do is think of it as a giant inconvenience, and I haven't stopped to think, this is cool. Shit, there's a self-driving car
but
right
what it's
outside.
doing is so tremendously boring.
Yeah, it's like driving 1 foot and parking.
I mean, we watched them. We were here a long time ago, right? Like we were over early before.
I've
and
memorized
we watched
their
them.
spiel.
We watched them rehearsing. Like this Volkswagen will now park itself.
This is an Eagle. If your garage is like my garage, it's full of stuff. How about you? Oh, you're lying.
Is that the rehearsal?
Oh, I know it all. I know it all.
No, it's great, and I'm sure they're paid well enough to make up for that part of their lives.
Oh, I do want to talk about one other thing car-related very quickly. So the trend that's emerging here is gesture control in the car, which I think is super fascinating because historically the problem they've struggled with in cars is that you either have a crap load of buttons and knobs on the dashboard or you have a finicky touchscreen that takes your eyes off the road. Well, so this gesture control, like BMW, what they're doing is you have to go like this.
I just can't wait to see people
Chris
driving
has got his
and be
hands
like
in a V, and he's just stabbing the air in front of him.
You know, you're
What-
gonna
wait,
look
what
over
does
and
that-
see someone just like.
What does that motion do?
It turns off the
and then,
screen.
Like, pick their nose,
It turns off
And
the
then, like,
screen.
somebody
In the dashboard,
Mostly,
it turns
I'm
it off.
usually just picking my nose when I'm driving, but
that
this would
you
be
just
very
kill it.
interesting.
You just
Yeah,
kill.
yeah.
Shut up.
We're
And
getting
then
our
if you do it again,
podcast together.
it turns it back on.
You
If
two get off our podcast.
If you go like this, it's volume up. This is volume down.
This is-
and-
Wait, are you joking or are you
No,
serious?
No, I'm serious.
Dead serious.
And if someone calls you and you want to reject the call, you go like that.
What? How?
You smacked him with
Chris
the back of your
Smacked
hand?
just did a backhand smack.
Child.
And
Wait,
just in case you were wondering,
this isn't better than touching the dashboard.
Oh, it absolutely is.
by the way, volume up just for the
No,
people
it's
listening
not.
in their cars. If you are currently listening to Vergecast in your car, which
do
most
this
of you
right
are,
now.
what I want you to do is imagine that you want to turn down the volume on the show and just begin waving your hand furiously
No,
in a counterclockwise
slap
circle.
it.
That-
And then you want to
slap.
shut this up. You just slap us quiet. Chris Plante, I don't like you. Wow.
Slap.
Because, and let's be
Also-
clear,
That's who
the
it
data
would be.
suggests that most of our complaints are about you.
Also
No,
trying
you're
to do
praying.
an up, down, L. Opposite L.
Wait, what is that for?
What
This
is that?
seems like
That's-
another one of the gestures that should happen.
No, this
No.
means
For
you're
left
turning.
turn?
Yeah, and then this means you're turning right.
No, this seems like this is
there
a thing.
are already signals
No, that's
for
just
that.
that's half a
We have
cheerleading
them for
routine.
bikes.
That's just your. And Chris is just stabbing the air now.
You got to have the,
I
the
don't
fingers like
think this is a
But
good
why do you
idea.
have to have the murderous look in your eyes?
No, this is not. Why is that better than hands-free,
You're just like
voice,
what?
or
Well,
touching a dashboard?
Oh, so I'll tell you exactly why it's better than touching a dashboard.
because
a
it's
gesture,
the precise.
a gesture doesn't require that you take your eyes off the road.
Okay.
I'll tell you why this is the
Wait,
worst
I have a-
idea
wait.
on the planet.
I have it. Okay.
And this
Fine.
is 100% definitive. Because putting a Microsoft Connect
Yeah.
and relying on your life on it
Yeah.
is the worst single idea that has ever existed in all of technology.
What if people start doing
Like, you are
Dance
literally like
Revolution?
your
Dance
first
Dance
drive.
Revolution in
Yeah.
the front seat.
Dance. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Ross Miller.
Wait, I have it. No, I have
Love it.
Maybe a.
You have a baby?
Yes, I've had a baby.
I
His
wish.
name is Mustang
Since we
Patel.
started this podcast, I had a baby.
I wish.
threw him at the car, and then he. Hit,
I had a baby at
and now his
CES a couple
name's
years ago.
Mustang.
Remember when I got my stroller?
I do remember
That
that.
was
Yeah.
one of our best videos.
Gadgets.
Wait, I have a question, and it's a real one. If your car's driving
go.
itself, why do you need to keep your eyes on the road?
Well, but the technology is so. First of all, the
No,
gesture.
you can't answer that question.
I can.
Okay.
I can. The
You
gesture
can try.
control is 1 to 2 years out.
Yeah,
Autonomous
totally.
driving isn't for 5 to 10 years.
Actually,
Right.
why
So-
isn't gesture control here now?
It's just not. I mean, like, the
Because-
2 companies announced it this week, Volkswagen and BMW. It'll be here very soon.
I mean,
So this is really happening.
and it's,
Yeah.
but it's Audi that has the touchscreen where you draw the letters.
Yep.
So
And
basi-
actually, so Google
Like
has
swipe on
so
the.
instead of having a keyboard on Audi cars, you draw letters on a touchpad.
and Google has a custom interface for Android Auto that works with that touchpad.
That
so
makes sense.
on Audis, you can actually do character recognition inside Android Auto.
Yeah, and then you just,
there a
you
stylus?
just backhand it to shut it up.
Right.
Is there a stylus that it comes out of your
There
steering
should be.
wheel?
There should be an HTC flyer in the dashboard.
I just want to know what Joanna's lazy cheerleading routine will eventually become.
It is a good question.
I gotta go. The show is over.
No, this is changing the radio station, I think.
This is just no. No.
Why would it be?
How do you turn off the car?
You look so mean when you do it. Chris just keeps stabbing me. Okay, the show's over. That was the Vergecast. John looks very tired. Thank you for the people who have sat with us today. We are doing this again tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
I'm so sorry.
Probably. Here's what I know about tomorrow. We want to start right on time, but we're interviewing a member of the Wu-Tang Clan on the stage before we're scheduled to start, and we might just be running on Wu-Tang's clock. So that's a fact.
The only clock I want to live on.
It's not super accurate, but it's a party. So we're doing this again tomorrow, sometime around 4. We'll have another show for other people listening. For the people listening, you are troopers. I can't believe as many people listen to our CES podcast as they do. Please drive
People
your car.
listen to this?
Like a lot. It's really weird. I don't know what they're doing or why. These people are physically here listening to
No,
it.
they haven't been
They're
listening.
just very tired.
They haven't been listening.
Okay, there's a million ways to follow The Verge. The main ways, you should you subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You should like us on Facebook, and you should follow us on Twitter, which I'm hoping all of you already do.
Snapchat.
We're the Real Verge on Snapchat. Sam is in Vegas with Snapchat, so that's just happening. And then I will say we are having a secret special 4th episode of the Vergecast on Thursday with a bunch of our YouTube friends, including the one and only MKBHD. So look for that.
It's not really that secret now that you.
Yeah, no, that's not a secret.
Well,
anymore.
I didn't say who the other people were.
True.
So there's that. So looking for that. And then
one of their names might rhyme with Tall Minartney. Might. Could be. Could be another Beatle. How many are left? Ringo.
Oh, I think he just said that Paul McCartney is on the Vergecast.
I think the idea that Paul McCartney is a YouTube star may not play.
Paul McCartney's an everything star.
Okay. Well, that is how we will collapse to a finish here on the Vergecast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for reading our site. And CES continues apace. This was your moment to take a selfie, and you blew it. Let's just be clear.
No, it's going to be my moment to say rock and roll in a second.
We're done.
You didn't say rock and roll. Do you
I
not
haven't
say
been
it
saying
anymore?
it for like a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I never make it to the end of the podcast.
Rock and roll.
Rock
Bye.
and roll.
You blew it.